Welcome back, guys, to another boiler retrofit. And you guessed it, we're going to be taking out this hydrotherm boiler here. She is definitely obsolete. Some of you people that know about hydrotherm boilers, they are cast iron sectional boilers, and they really had their presence in the 80s and 90s, but really have been phased out to the point where I think they even stopped manufacturing them about 15 years ago. So consequently, this is a big beast, and it's going to take a little effort to haul it out of the house. We have an indirect hot water tank beside it here, as well as a very big mess of piping. We have low temp and high temp mixed up with this, and we are going to be separating it and changing it all and putting it onto, you guessed it, this wall right here. This wall is going to be brought out with some plywood. We're going to be putting studs just to make sure that we have enough room to hide any of our wires behind it. We're also going to be mounting a IBC setup this time. Usually we do a lot of Navians, but this is going to be an IBC indirect hot water tank, bit bigger than what we have here. This is a 65 US gallon one, and then we're going to be putting in this IBC boiler. This is the SL 3199 G3. We've done a few of these in the past. I do like them. They are very nice boilers, and IBC does do a good job with the manufacture of it. So we're probably going to putting the boiler and indirect hot water tank here and doing all our zones and everything else here and make a much cleaner, a much more organized setup as opposed to what we have here. I've worked on this system personally in the past, and you have to get in through here and get back there to work on it. Well, not this time. We are going to modernize this completely, and we're going to have some fun doing it. So we'll see you in a bit.
Picture of pure love. 99 and 44, 100% pure love. Pure love, baby, it's pure love. Milk and honey and Captain Crunch and you in the morning. Pure love, you're the picture of pure love. 99 and 44, 100% pure love. 99 and 44, 100% pure love. 99 and 44, 100% pure love.
All right, everybody, welcome back. That's it, the grand reveal for this system. I would like to say this is a month or two later. Well, it's not. It's about 10 months later. The reason why is because, well, the system that was still here was still working, and it's not like they needed the heat right away. The couple's retired, so they were very gracious, just giving us a bit of time to work on it, and I really wanted to make it look nice and pretty and give them a bit more added value for the patients because we just were so busy as of late. But definitely worth the wait. What you see right here is the remnants of just running the lines over here, but that's not the new system. This is the new system, and I think it's turned out really, really good. Just on the aesthetic standpoint, you shut the lights off here, it just looks amazing if you walk in. Obviously we went with the green hue because, well, we have a lot of green fixtures on here, like the expansion tank, the Axiom hydro node, the hydro separator, the Calippi one, which we use all the time. I love the unions on it. See, it's probably my favorite hydraulic separator out there. And then of course we went with a Taco theme with our pumps that are all green. The Taco 0015 E3 series, and our controllers too, which handle just specifically zone pumps. And last but definitely not least, our condensate pump made by Axiom, as well as our glycol feeder, also made by Axiom, which have that green and white theme. So that's kind of where we left off with it, and I think everything just looks super great with everything done. And we'll go through how this came about step by step. And I guess basically Starting with building the wall. We built the black wall around here. Took a little bit more space. I think we need a little bit more space, and thankfully we did, because of the system itself. Just obviously takes up a lot of real estate if you want to add a bit of art and a bit of design to it, but also to make it look unique. But probably the most important thing, to make it serviceable. Chest height, you get access to the valves. You can read all your pumps, your gauges, and also just if you want to come here, sit down, look at the controls on the boiler. Just everything is designed for service work, and that's the key thing. I just love doing a system that you can come in here, work on it, and not worry about issues down the road. So anyways, we built the wall, and basically from there, we started with the zones and mounting the boiler. This boiler got mounted here specifically because if you take a look at our venting, I wanted to make sure we went up through the joists, over and out. And it got our spacing there to code to make that work. Obviously, we're using Gray 636 for our venting. This could have been a good job to use Centrotherm, but unfortunately, it was just easier in this case to use the Gray 636 and the ABS for combustion air. Boiler mounted location, did adjust it once or twice, but ultimately we settled on this position. This is the great thing I love about IBC boilers. The terminations, or rather the outlets, are on the side, not on the bottom. And what does that do for us? You go down here and you take a look at it, frees up all of this space down here, just for 2 or 3 simple things. Our condensate, power, as well as our glycol feeder, right? Frees up all the space, and everything can be mounted on the side. In this particular design, what I wanted to do was use all 4 outlets, both supplies, both returns, and have our indirect on one side, our indirect piping station for domestic hot water, and our heating on the right-hand side. And I think obviously that worked out really well. Now, key thing in programming this boiler is when you wire everything up, it's all about flow rates. Now, this boiler doesn't know how you're gonna pipe this. Sorry about that, the glycol feeder came on, which obviously is doing its job. Just topped it up with a bit of water this morning, just because we're still getting the air out. But nonetheless, the boiler itself doesn't know how you've piped this. It's assuming you've piped it correctly, but one way or another, it knows it needs to have the main pump through the heat exchanger to make sure we have our flow rates. So when there is a call for domestic hot water, clearly DHW pump will come on, and when it does come on, obviously the light will indicate, but also our main pump will come on too in this setup. It still works because we're still obviously having our main primary loop circulating the water through the boiler to protect the boiler, but on the off side we have our indirect pump coming out and obviously heating the indirect hot water tank. So the main concern is obviously if you have such a small pump, just operating the boiler and having it come on, that's not good for the boiler. It's all about flow rates with a lot of these systems, and that's a key thing to understand moving forward. So just always remember that. Now, of course, could you have put this indirect pump somewhere over here on this system? Of course you could. And once again, that main pump on the primary loop is going to come on, right? As long as that comes on to simulate flow, we're good. And if it's in the middle of summer, we don't need heat, but we do need domestic hot water. Once again, the main primary loop just circles heat around. It's not going to send heat out through all these zones because of the simple fact these zones have to, or these pumps have to be on in order for it to draw the heat out of the system, right? That's why we have hydraulic separators, closely spaced tees out there so that we protect that loop. So that being said, we obviously now have our secondary piping. We put 2 shutoffs here, mainly also, I mean, for isolation, but also if you ever need to have just domestic hot water and you're working on this, you can isolate the system and work, or still give you domestic hot water while you're working on this side of the system. We have our primary loop come in, high temp come off, and then we have our high temp pumps, and then we carry on. Now we have our mixing valve. So we have our mix here that goes off to our low temperature, comes back down, And obviously we're picking up our return from our low temp at the same time, going back into here, going back into here. Now we're picking up our high temperature return. So all of this is going to get really, really hot, going back into the hydraulic separator, picking up more heat, and then going back and continuing on the process. And you may only have 1 out of the 6 pumps here on. That's all you need. Now in this case, we actually have 5 zones on because I turned them up. Now, if you take a look at them, these are high temp, but they're also for upstairs. Main floor kitchen, main floor living area, and then we got a fan coil, a future fan coil, because the customer will probably want to put in something to push the air through this wood boiler system that he has. He still wants to keep this, so we'll probably have to put some sort of coil in, or a fan coil tied in with that. And we're still pondering the best way of going about that, because I'd still like him to have his wood heat option. There's always a backup if he needs to heat his house, but some people just like to burn wood heat, right? So totally understandable. Anyways, those go there, and then we have these 3 zones, which are all basement zones, in floor heat. So the basement, living room, bedrooms, and bathroom. And that's where these green pipes come over here. And once again, our guys did a beautiful job laying them out over here, come on back down, and then into the floor zones. And of course, I believe this is our main living area. It has 3 loops, and I think the rest have 1 and or 2. And of course, right now they are working, but right now we should be, when you think about it, 110 degrees. Well, no, we're not anywhere near that. We're at 90 degrees Fahrenheit because we put in an outdoor temperature sensor, because it's the middle of summer right now. You don't need it that hot in order to get that temperature. So even with the in-floor heat, it's just slowly creeping by, because that's how we've got it set on the boiler. And right now, all the boiler's thinking, hey, I want a target temp of 122 degrees, right? As the temperature drops, when it gets colder and colder, obviously then all this temperature will rise up. It's just more efficient. Am I a fan of outdoor resets? Yes and no. Primarily no, from the simple fact, if somebody wants to have 40-degree weather in their house, we're talking about Celsius, like if they want to have their house hot, even during warm weather, they should have the right to do so. It's not efficient, but some people want to have control over that, and that's one of my main reasons. Now, of course, you can come over here, touch this, or fool around, or get rid of the outdoor reset, but I'm trying to make it as simple as you can for these people, for this system, to operate it, right? Or at least to understand how to operate it. And if there's ever any issues, well, there's valves galore here to isolate everything. Key thing you may note: drain valve, drain valve, drain valve, drain valve, another drain valve. Now, a lot of people forget to put a drain valve on the coil of the indirect hot water tanks. In this case, obviously we did. I want to have control. I want to be able to flush air out. I want to be able to drain the system. I want to be able to service the system. You may wonder, why do we put hose bibs up here? Well, it's quite simply, put a small washing machine hose over here and fill up your glycol water feeder tank manually, and then you go. Now, of course, this is great for the homeowner. They can see their level, see where the water is. If it's going down, hey, do I have a leak? What's going on here? Or if it does go down, they can fill it up for whatever reason, right? But it gives them a bit more control over the system. But it also gives you manual control. If that doesn't work, you can feed this into any one of these ports and obviously manually feed up the pressure to operating pressure, which in this case, 14 PSI, somewhere between usually the 12 to 18 PSI range in most residential applications. So all in all, worked out very good there. We put in a very large expansion tank here. I always like to oversize my expansion tanks for that reason, because you know, they get waterlogged, sometimes they don't get serviced, sometimes they don't get looked at. It's just nice to have a bigger tank if possible. And once again here, we got a beautiful Axiom hydraulic, or hydro node. And then we up here have the have our main auto vent. Now we put auto vents here and here. I want air to be removed out of any high point, and also extra auto vents on each one of these, because the water should, or air should, go to the top of this and come up here. They're not designed to get all the air out. Nothing is, because you're always going to have high points, but it's just nice to have a bit of redundancy. And listen how quiet this system is. You don't hear any air. And the reason why, because of the simple fact, these hydraulic separators, or if you put micro bubble resorbers or whatever in there, they got a baffle in there and they help turbulate and get that air out of the system and up into the auto vents. So very, very impressed with this. And honestly, I've been doing Navians and I'm going to be doing some more Renais, but this is why I love IBC. IBC is so nice for this. They look great. They have the nice side outlets. I think they're even a little bit more money potentially, depending on what you go with and what you install to your system. But once again, just great. Awesome unit. Great controls to go over. Simple and easy. Some people argue Navian controls might be a little bit easier. But yeah, turned out really good. And you may notice there's no wires anywhere. Well, there are some wires, but once again, we built out that sub wall. Our electricians hid all the wires behind the wall here for a nice clean look. We got our 3 main switches over here. Lights, controls, boiler. Let's say we want to kill our heat, even if somebody has a thermostat on. That's why I like having this on, because you shut this off, all the controls shut off. Everything else shuts off. And of course, we have no call for domestic hot water or heat right now. Pump still on for the post stage, but once again, now you don't have to worry about heat, and it can just handle domestic hot water through the summer. Or once again, if the customer don't want the lights on, they're hooked up to a sensor up here, a motion sensor, but we can still just shut them off, and they can save power, but just adds to the overall aesthetic effect. Literature, we put our literature up here, so you have it. It's nice, neat, and organized. It's a place. It's not sitting on a tank, sitting on top of the boiler. It is there. It is in your face. You know where to find it if need to, or you phone tech support. All in all, guys, very happy with the system. There's probably more I could tell you, but I don't think I need to. But thanks again for sharing. This is one of our good IBC installs, and hopefully we'll be doing more of them. But until next time, guys, wish you all the best, and we'll see you on the next install.
Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Miracles I guess.